lost all 3 games to Calgary. They'll look to change that on a windy day at McMahon. Wind gusting up to almost 60 kilometers an hour, but we are underway here in Calgary. And that first return from McAllister, and our first look at Vernon Adams.
5th in the CFL last year in passing, completed 65% of his throws for over 4,000, 4,247 with the 21 touchdowns. Vernon Adams, talking to him this week, said, got one more step, got to lead our team to a championship. That's his next one. He's put up big numbers wherever he's gone.
He's been excellent early in seasons as well. Last year he finished 11-6. They will start this on their own 31. And they'll start it with the handoff. And that'll be pushed ahead to about the 35. Let's take a look at this Calgary offense.
Well, the one change will be at right tackle, where William Barnes, in his 2nd year, signed at the end of last year and was on the practice roster. He gets the start at right tackle, and there is Dedrick Mills. Panel talked about it in the pregame and through the opening of this game tonight. The leading rusher in the Canadian Football League last year with 1,400 plus.
4 yards in that first touch for Mills, 2nd and 6. And we've got flags flying here early in Calgary.
Cam Lawson get a little itchy, get things started.
He's excited. Right? He had 1 sack last year. He wants to get one early.
Winnipeg number 99. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Getting a great opportunity. Cam Lawson out of Queens. You'll see just to the left of your screen, a little early movement there as he jumps into the neutral zone. And
second and a couple, so Calgary will opt to just push this straight ahead.
Interesting end of the year for both these teams when you look at Calgary in that semifinal versus the BC Lions. And looked like it was going into overtime. Dave Dickinson thought he had a great game plan, and he did. VA threw for over 300 yards. Dedrick Mills rushed for over 100. Better numbers than Nathan Rourke and the BC Lions, but the Lions had the ball last with 20 seconds to go, and that's all it took.
Quincy Vaughn got the job done on the quarterback sneak, pushing it ahead. Now VA, quick hitter, and that one incomplete, in and out of the hands of Genesis. Let's take a look at the Winnipeg defense.
Yeah, the Bombers finished 4th and went over to the east, and they had to make some changes in the offseason, bring in some more free agents than they usually do. One of them is Jake Serezin, and of course Willie Jefferson signed an extension. Kyrie Wilson will start at middle linebacker. Big shoes to fill there when you look at the history of the Bombers. And Reddick Cramdy will move from the dime spot back to free safety this year.
2nd and 10 after the incompletion for VA. Flush from the pocket, on the run, cuts it back, pushing ahead, and he's close. He's mighty close, about a yard short of a Calgary first down.
VA is one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the league because of his talent in running the football, recognizing that he had the opening up the middle, didn't like what he saw in the coverage and pulled it down. And in our conversation this week, we talked about him running. He wants to take off and use his legs for sure again this year, but he wants to protect himself as well in the open field.
3rd and a yard, Vaughn pushing it ahead, he'll have it, and Calgary's offense going into the wind here in the first quarter will pick up another first down.
11 wins for the Calgary Stampeders last year, and had to really fight through some injuries. In fact, this is not really the ultimate Calgary lineup for 2026. On defense, they're missing Jalen Hutchings, Floa Remolade, and not because they're necessarily hurt right now. It's just Dave Dickinson wanted to keep them out maybe another week or two, make sure they're real fresh and they don't lose them early.
1st and 10 from the 52, slip on the ground. Back to the line of scrimmage, but no further. Philpott's first touch of the season. Could be a big year for Jalen Philpott.
Yeah, I agree, man. He is poised to be that perennial 1,000-yard guy, just like his brother. Big start for his brother. What a great catch.
Yeah, that was okay.
Last night, yeah. And there's Reggie Begelton, who is again healthy, but just holding him out of week 1. Make sure he's 100% to start the year.
VA looks to his left, dumps it off in midfield, and that is incomplete. Looking for Brissett, could not hang on, and Calgary will be forced to kick it away on their first possession.
And not a real aggressive Calgary team in free agency, but Dejan Brissett was one of them, and he should help this receiving corps. But they're missing on offense 2 of the starters for this season. Clark Barnes is one, and you just saw Reggie Begelton.
There is the Rookie of the Year and the most outstanding special teams player, Vavel, waiting at the 10.
Look at this setup. Live break, hit the line.
Bassett lets it go. This is into a strong wind. This will be taken just inside the 20, 40-yard kick, and Vavel will push it ahead back.
And 3 Grey Cup rings. 1 is a backup in Toronto, and 2 is the starter in those first 2 years of the 5 in a row Grey Cup appearances for the Bombers, which ended last year in the loss in that semifinal in Montreal.
Just 17 touchdown passes each of the last 2 years for Collaros after having 70 over a 2-year stretch. They'll started on the ground with Brady Oliveira, and he gets 7.
Yeah, so the Bombers went out after finishing 4th and having to cross over and made some changes. They brought in Jarrell Broxton from the BC Lions to play that right tackle spot, and of course they've got Stanley Bryant, the most decorated O-lineman in CFL history pretty much, and then Tim White in the receiving corps along with Tommy Neal. But Tim White, I think, is going to be a huge difference maker for this Bomber offense.
2nd and 3 for the Bombers on the road here in McMahon in Calgary. Back to Brady again. Broke a tackle, pushed it ahead, and is just shy, depending on the spot of the first down.
Talked to Michael O'Shea this week about that core group. Zach Collaros being one of them. Stanley Bryant, of course, being another. Almost put Brady Oliveira in that conversation as well, but they certainly have a bunch on defense. I asked him about the second half of the semifinal. He said, you know, we were down by 19, but when I saw our team come back, I knew we had to keep this core together. Make a few changes, we'll be okay.
Pushing it ahead, Bryce Perkins has the first down for the Blue Bombers.
I mean, a lot goes into it, but that was part of the decision. Let's take a look at this Calgary starting defense. Again, missing a couple of studs in the middle of that defensive line in Jalen Hutchings and Arimolade, but they do have Clarence Hicks playing tonight, and Markel Lee is starting at middle linebacker. Missed most of the season with an injury. Adrian Green led the team in interceptions at that wide side corner.
And Moncrief had an excellent year last year as well. Big part of this Calgary defense. Here's Collaros down the field, and he drops it in. Who else? Tommy Neal has his first regular season catch as a Bomber.
Yeah, Tommy Neal on a deep dig route. Again, one of the new acquisitions in free agency. According to Ed Tate, who writes for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, got an 18-yard gain there, who writes for the Bombers, Tommy Neal didn't get an offer from Saskatchewan. Now, there's only so much money. They, I guess, moved it in a different direction, but it's a little surprising based on last year.
5 touchdowns in 13 games last year with the Riders. Had just 2 touchdowns during his time in Toronto as they go back to Brady here on first down for some positive yardage.
Yeah, but how about the big catch? I mean, Tommy Neal, with a minute to go in the West Final against the BC Lions at home, Trevor Harris drives the field, and with just seconds left, hits Tommy Neal.
Just 1 season with the Riders, but a legend forever after making that catch.
Good point.
In that moment. 2nd and 8 from the Calgary 48. Pass past the midway point of the opening quarter here on Friday Night Football. Morris on the run to his right. He's going to keep it, looking for the 40, and he's forced out of bounds, just short.
Well, it looks like it was a designed inside rush from Clarence Hicks, the defensive end, to come off the edge on an inside rush lane, but he doesn't have secondary contained. So he makes that inside move, and that opens up the edge for Zach Collaros. He doesn't like what he sees down in the coverage, so he just tries to get to that marker.
Third and a long yard. Perkins back into the game. Patient with it, finds some space to the right edge, and picks up another Winnipeg first down.
Yeah, no Chris Strebler this year in Winnipeg, so Perkins will take care of those short yardage duty. And when you see already the impact Jarrell Broxton making at that right tackle, he went right off that side. And
not a bad idea.
Well, talking to the Bombers is including Michael O'Shea this year. We had a lot to talk about, a lot of new faces and new names. He kept bringing up Jarrell Broxton.
To take the best offensive lineman from one of your rivals is a massive get for Winnipeg. First and 10 from the Calgary 38 now. Collaros gets it away. He was pressured and taken down, and because of that, the throw falls incomplete.
So they finish fourth, and they...
Be interesting to see how they handle Brady Oliveira in the running game. Tommy Kundell likes to throw the ball more than any offensive coordinator in the league over the last 6 or 7 years. Now here's Collaros. Steps up in the pocket, hit as he throws, and he drops it in just inside the 20, and he finds Tim White for the first time this season.
Number 12.
Kyle Wilson, a little game here with Miles Brown, a little inside game where they show blitz and then they both drop out of there. And Collaros just buys a little extra time so that Tim White can find the soft spot. Just sit down the field, 19-yard gain in the first half.
Tim White, 5 years with Hamilton. His last 4 years, over 1,000 yards and at least 7 touchdowns in each of them. 31 touchdowns in his last 4 seasons. First and 10 from the Calgary 19. He's back into the belly of Brady. Pushes through, and a touchdown Winnipeg! Brady Oliveira gets it started.
Brand new contract extension for Brady Oliveira in the offseason. Wanted to get off to a great start. How about opening drive? Find the end zone.
That's 19 yards, pretty much untouched.
Yeah, they blew it up front.
Castillo out for one more, and he smooths it through, in Winnipeg on top.
End zone untouched.
Bombers offensive line going to work early in this one. Now this will be dropped over the head of McAllister, and he takes a knee. And ball here trailing 8-0, but was excellent last year with Calgary.
Yeah, and this is the numbers we're talking about that he has done and put up in his career. Winner in BC that year in 23, almost 5,000 yards passing, 11 wins, playoff position. Calgary, same thing, went to the semi, threw for 334 in the semifinal in BC in the semifinal this year.
Started last year 5-1. They'll hand it off to Mills, and he is wrapped up. Jones and Griffin, I believe, both in there after a couple of yards for Mills.
And, you know, the thing about Vernon Adams is he gets all his weapons out there. His offensive line is excellent across the board and are just going to get better. Christopher Fortin at center in his second year. Remember, he was rushed in there with the injury to Bryce Bell last year and had to play at center as a rookie. Did very well.
Jones with the tackle, had 102 tackles last year for the Bombers. Some early movement here with 3.5 to play in the first.
Vernon Adams has done this a couple of times in this game already tonight, using his snap count to draw the Bombers offside. He's staggered snap count, don't go on the same sound every time. Quarterback can, what it does is if you get a couple of offsides early in a game, it gives you a split second longer in the pocket, because now that defensive line doesn't want to jump offside again a third time, so they take a split second before they got to understand.
Even more so in the first game of the season?
Well, in the first game defensively, you want to get to the ball. You're so fired up.
I was going to ask you, who,
like
who has the advantage early in the season? Offenses or defenses?
Well, I've always said defenses, because it really is a simpler setup. I mean, it's drop to your spot and then go to the ball.
Offside, Winnipeg number 44, procedure. Calgary number 67. Those penalties offset. Replay second down.
Okay, we'll let that one go.
Offsetting penalties at the line.
But having said that, when you look at the quarterbacks in the league right now, all veteran quarterbacks, some going to the Hall of Fame automatically.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised we see some big offensive output early in this season.
2nd and 8. Adams with some time, has a ton of room to his left. Now goes back over the middle, and he's got a first down as he finds Dejan Brissett.
Breakout year for Dejan Brissett in Toronto last year with almost 1,000 yards, 6th in the CFL in that target to catch ratio, which is so important. How many times are you targeted and how many times do you actually catch it? And he was 6th in the league in that category, almost at 80%.
Played 71 games with the Argos after being selected 2nd overall in 2020. Now they'll stretch it out. Big hole, lots of room. Mills is still going to go, rumbles ahead down inside the 45, almost all the way to the 40. A 16-yard pickup for Dedrick Mills.
Both these backs are multi-talented. I mean, you got guys that can play the tough game in the middle between the tackles, play that smash mouth type football, but you also got guys that in one step can take that jump cut and separate from the defenders immediately. Both these guys can do it. That was Mills' turn.
Brady had 19 yards on the touchdown. Mills with 16 there as Calgary looks for an immediate response after falling behind here at home. Back on the ground, right up the middle. Mills again down inside the 30. If it's going to work, why not?
Yeah.
For last year's rushing leader, 33 yards so far in the game, and he'll stand in there to the left of Vernon Adams. 3 options out to the right for VA. Goes over the middle, but that is batted down. Incomplete.
Did Willie get it?
Of course it was Willie. At 16 last year. Give him 1 here in 26.
And he is now at career 95 knockdowns at the line of scrimmage. Watch 5, out of his stance, little bull rush, and then he sticks his hands up and becomes an oak tree.
It's got to be so annoying for quarterbacks when you're like, oh, I got somebody open.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Willie's arm just comes up out of nowhere. Big play on this drive, 2nd and 10. 2 options out to the left for Adams, 3 to his right, looks to his left. He's going to throw to his left, and he's got a completion and a first down as he gets McAllister involved in the offense.
Yeah, this is one of the players that have changed teams, come back from the NFL, whatever you want to say, that is new to a team this year across the league that no one's talking about, and maybe be one of the big ads in the entire league for a team and here in the Calgary Stampeders. To get Tyreek McAllister back from his NFL time, he was in Hamilton and was the all-purpose yards leader with the Ticats back in 23.
1st and 10 into the red zone, first time this year. They'll go on the ground again to take it inside the 15-yard line as time ticks down here in the first quarter. And an excellent drive